Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here, alongside Christian Mosqueda. 260-something, 268, I believe. Canelo week, Chris. Canelo weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo's back on that weekend. And of course, we had to be back. We had to preview that great fight. And we also had some action last Saturday, Chris.
Yeah, like you said, Gio, it's a big fight week of boxing. This is the fight that, a lot of the mainstream fans like tune in and see. It's Canelo week, and yeah, man, let's get it started.
Yeah, before we get there, of course, we got to talk Virgil Ortiz Jr. You were there in attendance, Chris, in Fresno. He got a first round stoppage yet again. What can we say? Can we even draw up any conclusions? I know they're lining up another fight, but just to stay on this topic, did we learn anything from Virgil?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is we wanted to see how where Virgil's at right now. Obviously, you can't see a whole lot with not many rounds getting in, but because of the health scare, Gio, because of all those health issues, people feeling that it derailed him a little bit, his trajectory. People were just wondering when were we going to see Virgil back to his peak, and it doesn't get better than the first round knockout. So it almost feels like Virgil is back to his old self. Of course, we know he's back with with Robert over there in Riverside. So it almost feels like he never left. It almost feels like that health issue that he had never happened. So I guess the biggest takeaway is it almost feels like he's back on track, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, still showing the power, still 100% KO ratio. I believe it's 21 wins now, 21 KOs. And obviously a lot of people were tuned in to see how he looks because of all the rumors that were going on before, of course, this fight. Of course, the Tszyu rumors, Chris. You interviewed Virgil Ortiz Jr., he told you the fight is not signed yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, pretty much it's a gentleman's agreement. We know what kind of caliber both these guys are, Tszyu, Virgil. They're just both old school throwback kind of fighters. They're the kind of guys that, they don't care how much money's on the line. They just want to fight for legacy, for to prove who really is the best. And again, yeah, these are two throwback kind of fighters, Gio. Again, these are those kinds of fights that fight fans salivate over, that, it takes 3-4 years for it to make, and it's here. So I'm excited for that one, Gio. Again, I kind of wish Virgil would have gotten more rounds. I think he and his camp also said that they expected a few more rounds in, but yeah, it's kind of tough to last in there with a guy like Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, and look, before we get into that, obviously the Jose Ramirez fight was the one that headlined that card. Jose Ramirez, I've never been too big on him, Chris. I always felt like he was overrated. Seems like a great person, does a lot of great things in the community, and I feel like that's why he gets a lot of love. I still haven't seen any defense from him in his 20 something, 30 something fights that he has. He's like a throwback Robert fighter, right? Just come forward and try to stop your opponent. He actually got dropped in this one, and we'll play the clip. We'll play the clip, and you guys tell us if you guys think it was a knockdown or not. I think it was, Chris. What do you think? As I said, you were there in attendance. What was the general sentiment about that? He got hurt against Barthelemy.
Yeah, no, the general consensus was that he was hurt. You could hear the gasp in the crowd. You know, you saw him on unsteady legs. You know, the hands didn't go right away. You know, it almost felt like Barthelemy was gonna, catch another big shot, hurt him. It was one of those fights where even though Barthelemy was losing rounds, it almost felt one big shot could have changed the fight, and it almost happened. But yeah, definitely a knockdown in our opinion. Barthelemy, messed up the pooch. He messed up that moment. But yeah, definitely had his opponent hurt right there in that third.
Yeah. Did you guys think it was a close fight, when they read the scorecards?
Yeah, I mean everybody in attendance. Obviously, it's a pro. It's a pro. It's
Yeah.
the Ramirez, kind of fight. But yeah, there was those moments where it almost felt like Barthelemy, had a game plan of just catching him with one big shot and finishing him up. But yeah, again, it was a weird, wild third round, Gio.
Ramirez was always overrated, and he's a duck, says Big Bro. And Barboza seems to be calling everybody out. I know he raised his hand at the end of the fight, too, for that Ramirez Barboza. But I don't want to spend too much time on Ramirez, Chris. I already told you how I felt about him. I don't even think that's worth spending too much time on. But it was a cool homecoming, Fresno, California. How was the overall attendance there in the arena?
I don't know. The attendance was good, Gio. Like you said, he gets a lot of love back at home, back in Fresno. You see the billboards as you're pulling up to the arena. It's the reason why Terrence Crawford fights at home. Outside of their hometowns, they're not very popular. Hard to sell those tickets, but at home they get a lot of love. Ramirez got a lot of love. Great reception, of course. You got a guy like Virgil, helping you out a little bit. But yeah, not too impressed with Ramirez myself, Gio. Again, he's the quintessential robber kind of fighter. Comes straight, one dimensional. High volume puncher, but at this weight level, I just don't see him, competing against the very best. But yeah, man, if you keep getting, certain kind of opponents that make it interesting, Arnold Barbosa and the likes, he's gonna be the B side in my opinion. But yeah, not too impressive Ramirez.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, not too impressed. I don't want to spend too much time on it. You spend way too much time talking about it. Not sure why, but let's go back to Virgil Ortiz. Let's go back to Virgil Ortiz. I'm gonna go ahead and play the interviews that you had with them. This one specifically talking about that Tszyu fight.
To hire,
It's not signed yet.
I was like,
It's not signed yet. It's kind of a verbal agreement right now, because obviously I don't think I can be signed to two different fights at the same time. I don't think that's even legally possible. But we'll it's gonna happen. We're in the sign, and
to hire.
it's not signed yet.
I was like,
It's not signed yet. It was
All right, so that's Virgil Ortiz talking about the fight with Tszyu and also
the plan
wanting to
wasn't
get rounds in.
You wanted to get a few rounds in.
I wanted to get a few rounds in, just because I have a upcoming fight, coming up. It's gonna be a war. But I think the instinct that I showed in the ring right now, just being able to stay poised and calm, pick the right shots. I think that was more than enough for me.
The plan wasn't.
And then let's go ahead and also play the knockout itself, Chris. It was quick, one round. It was a body shot that he snuck in there. So you guys see the body shot there on your screens. Chris, give us your thoughts. As I said, one round, it was quick. Virgil said as soon as he landed it, he knew that was probably it for Delorme. He said he smirked, when he landed it because he knew it was a hard punch. He said he didn't put all the power behind it either. That it was just landing in the right spot, as you guys see it there. Snuck in that left. What are your thoughts there? One round only, one round.
Yeah, earlier in the round he hits Delorme, and then again, like you said, he perfectly positions his shot. Delorme goes down. I was one of those guys in attendance, Joe. Even though obviously we like to see Virgil get knocked down, I'm like, oh man, this guy's not gonna get up, man. Of course, we wanted to see Virgil get rounds. We wanted to see him punish his opponent some more. But yeah, as soon as it went down, you hear the roar of the crowd, and we knew it was over.
Yeah, so I guess now is what's next for Virgil. We kind of know August 3rd. They're trying to set it up, and what a card, man. If they're able to pull this off, where is it? It's right here. So it's supposed to be Terrence Crawford needs all the help he can get, man. That guy's out here selling 30,000 pay-per-views. So finally it seems like he's gonna sell. Obviously it's not for him, but look at this undercard, man. David Morrell against Radivoje Kalasic. I think that's one of the weaker fights. Virgil Ortiz Jr. against Tszyu. This was very interesting. BoxRec had it up already before this fight with Delorme. Isaac Pitbull Cruz against Jose Rayo Valenzuela. Andy Cruz against Antonio Moran. Andy Ruiz Jr. against Gerald Miller, Big Baby. And they're also saying if Wilder can pass that Big Bang Zhang test, that he might be fighting Jared Anderson on this card. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but, people were talking about, best card ever. I think that's going a little too far. I've seen much better cards, man. Y'all better rewind and take a look at those Don King cards. I don't think these compare to that.
I think when they're saying best card ever, it's because they haven't been around the sport. It's about 20 years from the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. With those Tyson, Don King kind of cards. But it's the best card we've seen in a long time, Gio. We gotta give them credit on that. You can make 3-4 main events. Such as just the way Virgil, Senior said, you could make multiple main events. Even I forgot that there were certain cards, headlining this event, because a fight like Tszyu and Virgil Jr. is a main event in itself. Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Rayo, take my money now. Yeah, again, this card is stacked, the best card in my opinion over the last 5 years for sure. So yeah, again, it's a mini throwback to the Don King days.
Even that statement, I don't know if I would go that far, Chris. There are 0 stars in this card.
I mean, I know from a draw perspective, you're not impressed by the names, but it's stacked when it comes to the credentials. You got a guy like Virgil, of course. Tszyu. They don't have the huge accolades like other people like the Canelos, but these are the guys that people love in the sport. The People Cruz, the Rayos. These are guys, fan friendly styles. Terrence Crawford, pound for pound number 1 right now.
Stop it.
It's stacked in the
Stop
boxing game.
Chris, we're not gonna sound like ESPN, Chris. Stop it. Stop it. You can't have your biggest fight your only big fight at 36 and be number 1. Like, that's just insane. There's a reason why he sells 40,000 pay-per-views, Chris. There is a reason.
Hey, he may not be a draw, but we got to give him respect where the skills are at, Gio.
He has the skills. He's never been number 1, though. People got to stop that narrative now, man. That's crazy.
But yeah, what's the fight on that card, Gio, that most excites you?
That's a good question. I'm gonna create a poll so we can talk about it next week. But let's pull it up back again. Here are the cards. As I said, Andy Ruiz, Gerald Miller. I'm not sure why Miller's still fighting. I'm not excited about that one. Andy Ruiz hasn't fought in forever. Let's see when's the last time he fought. Andy Ruiz 35-2, 22 KOs. He's now doesn't say his age on here. He hasn't fought since Luis Ortiz in 2022. All right, so not excited about that one. Andy Cruz against Antonio Moran. Never even heard of Moran. I'm not excited about that one, not going to lie. Isaac Cruz, Rayo Valenzuela. Besides the obvious one is Virgil Ortiz, Tszyu, right? That's the main event. That's the one that people are going to pay to watch in this event. So that's the obvious answer. But I think Cruz against Valenzuela for many reasons. Both guys are going to attack. They're attacking fighters. Valenzuela, I don't know who manages him, but I mean, that's insane. Why would you do that? 13-2, 9 KOs. And look, I think he could win the fight. And you know how I feel about Cruz. I don't think he's all that, but look, 24 years old. He already fought Colbert twice. He fought Edwin de los Santos. Francisco Vargas, he was supposed to win that one. But yeah, I mean, just the matchmaking early on in his career is insane for a guy with only 15 fights. They're putting him up there with some of the top contenders. I don't know. I'm a bit confused, but hey. David Morrell, not excited for that one. Madrimov, Terrence Crawford, that's a decent fight. Yeah, besides the obvious one, I think Cruz against Valenzuela, because both guys are offensively minded fighters, and I feel like they can both hurt each other.
Yeah, when you put that poll up, definitely Tszyu Virgil is probably gonna take the number one spot in my opinion. Eastside People Cruz Rayo right there behind them, number two. Again, those are those fights where people know both of those guys. Madrimov, they don't know too much, but yeah, those two fights right there they're gonna take the top spot in my opinion. But yeah, no, I completely agree. We've interviewed Rayo, big fans of Rayo. Maybe 2.5 years ago, we knew that he was coming up, and if you were to tell us that he'd have, 2 losses, a very complicated fight schedule, and Oscar de la Hoya type of, complicated fight schedule where you're just fighting all these names before your time, in my opinion. It's a little shocking, that the management is making him fight all these fights. Again, he's a good fighter. He's an exciting fighter, entertaining, reminds me obviously of Teofimo kind of entertainment fashion in that ring, but definitely taking fights, way too soon in his career, taking losses early on. It's a good thing he bounced back with that win over Colbert. But yeah, I need to know who's managing Rayo.
There goes number one for Chris with the bad comparisons, but comparing Rayo to Teofimo, not sure why, but yeah, look at his record. He lost twice in a row against Colbert. I think he was robbed in that one. Hurt Colbert many times. Got his get back on the second one. Technically, on paper, he's coming off just one win in a row. I mean, insane managing, man. Come on. But whatever. It's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be an exciting fight for sure.
Yeah, no, again, that fight has fight of the year written all over it, and it's competing with another fight of the year candidate right there in Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz Jr. So those two fights alone is worth the price tag in that event, in my opinion. But yeah, man, a heck of an event, heck of a card put together by Turkey. Right there behind the scenes, getting all the promoters together, and yeah, man, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, let's go to some comments here. Big Bro saying Cruz or Rayo are not even 140 pounders. Both are contenders, not in the top at 135. El Pachuco says Pitbull KOs Valenzuela. El Pachuco also says, come on, man, Bud is not a pound P4P number one. There's still crazy people out there saying that he is. I mean, now maybe they don't have box rec. It's free, guys. It's free.
Top 3, top 4. Obviously, we can make a case for the other guys, more accolades or whatnot. But come on, we got to give him a little respect. He's up there. He's inside the top 4, Gio.
Hey, let me tell you, man. If you look at that top 10, he probably has the worst resume. But to go to some other comments, Big Bro says Mandrimov versus Crawford is a decent fight. And also Cruz versus Rayo. Virgil versus Tszyu is main event. Yeah, hands down. I mean, it should be. At this point, Crawford I mean, he doesn't have to be the headline, Chris. I think they're just putting respect on his name, but let's keep it real. He's not the headliner in this fight. But look, they're stacking it up well. Do we know what the venue is yet? Let me see. Let me see what they have on here.
We don't know yet, but they're saying it's in LA. So I mean, the venue that comes to mind,
BMO Stadium. So that's the LAFC stadium.
That's a LAFC stadium, correct?
Yeah, that's what I just said, Chris. Is the LAFC stadium? Yeah, I think they could do. They're gonna do numbers, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what the price tag is for these tickets. Typically, the prizes in LA aren't too crazy. They're not Vegas crazy. They're decently priced. So this is gonna be very, very interesting.
Yeah, and again, I've been in that stadium, Joe. All the seats, they're very Euro style. All the seats are, is a pretty good seat, man. So we definitely got to get ourselves in there. Again, a stack card, probably the most stack card of the year, in my opinion. So yeah, man, like when you can get that many names, in one night, you gotta go. You gotta take advantage because we know how these promoters work, man. They try to give you one decent main event and give you nothing but weak undercards and they call it a day. So gotta take advantage of this card.
Yes, sir. El Pachuco says resume matters the most, Chris. Come on, man. That's really the only way to compare and gauge where everybody's at, right? Is who have you fought, who have you beat. But hey, as I always say, for some reason in boxing, logic does not exist. This is the only sport where logic just goes out the window and people want to make stuff up. But if you look at the facts, I mean, we know what's up. I know what's up, Pachuco. You might have to convince Chris. Chris watches a lot of ESPN, so it might be hard to bring him back to this side.
Hey, I get it. He may not have the deepest resume, but come on, not a lot of guys didn't want to fight him, and then we saw what he did to Errol Spence. It makes sense why nobody's been wanting to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. But hey, we'll leave that for another day, Gio.
Man, I don't know how long you're gonna use that excuse for. Nobody wanted to fight him. That's crazy. That's insane. But anyway, yeah, let's move on, Chris. Anything else to add on this? Virgil, Tszyu, the card overall. Anything you want to add before we move on to Goat Nello, as some people call him?
Yeah, no. To me, I'm a big believer that this is probably Virgil's toughest assignment to date. Wish we would have seen him get more rounds in. Like you said, Joe, like Virgil told us, it's not signed yet. I would advise get another, maybe fight in between. But obviously, these guys are not going to do it. They're going to go straight to the fight. And yeah, man, again, I would recommend more rounds in for Virgil before you fight a guy like Tszyu. But hey, these guys are both throwback fighters. They're going to get it on. And August 3rd seems like the date where they will steal the show.
Yeah, and let's play this clip. I don't think I have it, but his dad said, hey, it's going to be a chess match. They both have power, so they seem like they're going to put a good plan together. We forgot to talk about this one as well, Chris. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip. Let me mute it. So
the plan wasn't to get him out early. You wanted to get a few rounds in.
I wanted to get a few rounds.
Well, they played the wrong one there. But here, let me see if I can. Chris, Jojo Diaz stopped by Oscar Duarte. Was there any surprise there? I think we kind of saw that coming. No disrespect to Jojo.
Yeah, no, I think with Jojo, we know that he's at the tail end of his career. He's I don't want to say he's a journeyman, but he's at the tail end where the up and coming fighters, the ones that are fresh, hungry, they're gonna get W's over him. But I didn't expect a knockout, a TKO. Again, that just shows that he's getting up there, man. He's getting, it's maybe time to consider retirement. But great performance by Oscar Duarte. He just brought the pressure to him. We saw him do the same thing to Ryan Garcia. But obviously Ryan's on a different level right now in his prime. But yeah, a little surprising stoppage on Jojo Diaz's part. He contested it, but he was getting dominated throughout that entire fight.
Yeah, the stoppage seemed a little premature. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the whole fight. I was not interested in this. We kind of knew the outcome, but do you think that was a fair stoppage there? Was he taking a beating?
He was getting dominated throughout. I also agree. Maybe the ref, jumped the gun a little bit, but at the same time, I think he was protecting JoJo because he wasn't winning, in my opinion. Too many rounds, and it was lopsided, in my opinion, in favor of Oscar Duarte. So I think it was a sense the ref just protecting JoJo from taking further punishment.
Big Bro says, I'm glad Diaz got stopped. Indisciplined, overrated fighter. And look, you saw the difference in just the physical condition. Oscar Duarte in tip-top shape. Obviously, he was coming off that Ryan Garcia loss. He got stopped in that one. He was fighting with Robert, right? He was with Robert Garcia for this training camp. He looked in great shape, and during the weigh-ins, JoJo, I can't remember the last time he looked in shape, Chris. He hasn't been making weight. I mean, we're not surprised. We're not surprised. One of the things that came to mind was obviously Duarte faced Ryan Garcia. JoJo Diaz missed out on the Ryan Garcia payday. He should have, he should have pushed for that fight years ago. I don't think he's getting a big payday anymore. He has a few losses now, and he's not looking good.
Yeah, like you said, he takes this loss. He took a loss, an unexpected loss. A couple fights back against Pacquiao. Again, his stock is going down, and that under the same umbrella, under the same house, there with Ryan Garcia, missed opportunity. I don't think he's got too much left to even entice the fight, unless there's come as the last minute opponent. But that's not going to sell. So yeah, either JoJo has to consider hanging them up or make one sensational run, but it's not going to be for a title shot. It's not going to be for it's got to be for a prize fight. And at this stage of his career, he's not the biggest guy in that division. I think it's time to just he made a lot of money. It's time to call it a career.
Yeah, but yeah, decent card there. We came out here last week and said, hey. Well, I said, hey, Ramirez and Virgil are supposed to get KOs. Ramirez struggled. He didn't shine. Virgil did his thing. Oscar Duarte was kind of expected. But, yeah, they put a decent card there in Fresno. And then we'll go to some last comments here before we move on to Canelo. El Pachuco says, Crawford was content with getting paid big bucks for fighting subpar competition. I'm paraphrasing Bob Arum. And then I wrote in the chat, hey, man, dude became undisputed by beating a dongo. Come on, man. A dongo.
Hey, you got to be who's in front of you, Gio. That's the guy at that time. That was the guy at the time, man.
Chris, you got to come up with some new narratives, man. You got to try a little harder than that.
Hey, again, the destruction that he did on Errol Spence. Come on.
So one fight, Chris. One fight. 36 years old. Unbelievable. Anyway, but that's most boxing fans think like that, though. That logic, like I said, logic does not exist in boxing. It's the only sport in the world where, rankings don't matter, resumes don't matter, logic doesn't matter. It's just if you like a guy and he beats somebody good, he's number one. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on, Chris, because we do have a big fight coming up this Saturday, Cinco de Mayo weekend. You'll be there, correct, in Vegas?
Yes, sir. I'll be in there.
Canelo Alvarez against Jaime Munguia. Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas. T-Mobile Arena, I believe it is. That's Canelo's home. Big weekend. Once again, Canelo fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend against Jaime Munguia for the undisputed title at 168. Munguia looking good at 68, looking good with Roach. I'm going to go ahead and put the polls up on your screens to see how people think this fight is going to turn out. And then we can also look at the live odds. I haven't looked at the odds yet. The last time we saw the odds for that Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight, we were appalled, Chris. We were surprised. They had Devin Haney up by a lot, -8, -800, -9 something. That was wild. But yeah, we'll take a look at the odds in a second, Chris.
Yeah, no, again, yeah, this is obviously a Canelo fight week. It's the face of boxing. He's a favorite guy. Munguia showing a lot of respect. You know, we've had some upsets, Joe. We've had some upsets already with the Fundora win, with the Ryan, you know, having us all fooled. So I wouldn't pass it. You know, I wouldn't just discount Jaime Munguia, you know, but it's a tough assignment against a still very fresh Canelo. I know that the narrative amongst a lot of the experts is when is Canelo gonna age? When is he gonna show some slippage? You know, the same could be asked of Crawford. When are they? You know, these guys are in their mid-30s. When are we gonna see a little bit of slippage? But I don't see it happening this Saturday. Again, I see a very confident, calm Canelo. You know, stoic. You know how we're used to seeing him. So yeah, man, great. I'm excited to be in that arena, catch some of that footage. I'm sure it's going to be a great, you know, back and forth action. Not a whole lot of big expectations. So usually when you have those expectations, you'll get a surprise. So that's what I'm expecting on Saturday.
Yeah, and look, here they have Canelo -600, Jaime Munguia +425, Canelo winning by TKO or DQ +175. Yeah, and then let's take a look at some other sites as well to see how they have it. Sports Illustrated, let's see. Do you think that's fair at -600?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel like it's gonna be a bit more competitive, especially early on. But I feel like eventually Canelo will, you know, start taking over his skills, his angles, you know, just his experience. I see it more of a -400 kind of fight, just because you know Jaime's youth, his size, you know, he'll be in the booth. He's got a good chin. He's gonna be able to take a lot of Canelo's punches early on, but yeah, a little high in my opinion, but yes, still Canelo all the way.
All right. Before we move on, Pachuco has a good question. He said, "Hold up. What is your prediction for Ortiz versus Tszyu? Do we want to give a quick prediction, Chris? We like both guys. You talked to Virgil. You said, hey, both of you guys are respectful, professional. There's not gonna be much trash talking. They're gonna work hard, straight to business. You know, they respect each other. You know, they tweeted back and forth, all respect. You know, they just want to fight the best. Do you have a favorite in this fight? Is it 50-50? What do you think so far?"
Yeah, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, you know, just seeing where Virgil was coming from and seeing where Tim Tszyu was at, I would have favored Tim Tszyu. After this past Saturday, even though I know it's gonna be a great fight back and forth, it's all Virgil. I think he's back to his old self. I think he's back to digging, you know, to the body. You know, he's got rejuvenated confidence right there with Robert. I think he's gonna knock out Tim Tszyu. I'm gonna say that early on. You don't get to 100% knockout ratio just out of sheer luck. You could ask Betcher beat that. I think those two guys can definitely, you know, crush every guy in their way. So I'm gonna say Virgil Ortiz, Gio. I'm not 100%, but I just think he's got that extra gear in him.
Mind you guys, Virgil fought like 2 minutes, and that was enough for Chris to say, oh, he's back to his old self. Oh, man.
What do you think? What do you think?
I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50. Obviously, Virgil Ortiz, 100% KO ratio. It seems like anytime he touches people, they go down. You know, Tim Tszyu was coming off that war, but obviously he has the momentum. He has the stamina right now. He's been active, something Virgil hasn't. He's fought, I think Big Bro said, less than 5 minutes in the past couple years. So I think that's going to hurt him, man. I think that's going to hurt Virgil Ortiz. But again, once Virgil catches you, that seems to be it. So I think 50-50. I think if I had to favor someone, it'd probably be Virgil Ortiz, but by a very, very slim margin. By a slim margin. I think he needs more rounds under his belt before going into this fight, man. It's a dangerous fight.
Yeah, no, let me just say, just because I say it's a knockout, Gio, I don't think it's like 80-20. It's gonna be very competitive, and I could be wrong, but like you said, something about Virgil's power when it and that pressure when it hits you. A lot of guys just don't want to get up. A lot of guys, you know, they become Ryan Garcia versus Tank, where they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay down here. So I'm not saying Tszyu's that kind of guy, but I can see Virgil. You know, I can see a kind of a Caballescas kind of fight where Virgil will get hurt as well, but he's gonna weather it, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay. Hey, we got time to talk about it. August 3rd. It seems like they're gonna put it on that card. But yeah, I got Virgil by slight favorite. They both can hurt each other. And I like Tszyu. I like Virgil. So it's a tough one. Big Bro saying you're writing Virgil too much. No Diddy.
I like Tim. I like Tim too, but I mean, again, it's that knockout ratio. Again, it's 100%, man. It's intact. I think there's a part of him where he takes pride in just taking every single guy out, and you don't want to mess up that 100% knockout ratio. So worst case scenario, he loses that, but he still wins the fight. So it's again it's 55-45 kind of fight. It's very close. I do agree with Gio that Tszyu has the rounds advantage where he's got all that, he's got all those rounds that Virgil doesn't have. But yeah, again, I don't think Virgil needs all 12 rounds to win a fight.
Yeah, and I guess the part that sucks, but I never really cared about the belts, but that fight won't be for a title. I mean, Ryan against Haney wasn't really for a title either. I think titles are the cherry on top, but we just want to see great fights. People put a lot of importance on those things, but I feel like those legacy fights are much more valuable than a trinket. As you've as you have used that word before, right? It's just a trophy. It's just a trophy. But
Yeah.
Yeah, let's continue on Canelo, Chris. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna pull up the poll, see how people have it so far. Who wins, Canelo or Munguia? 1,500 votes so far. 79% for Canelo, 21% for Jaime Munguia. Huh.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'd be surprised if it's got to be 70% or higher for Canelo, just because of that name recognition, just because he's got all those titles, all that experience, pound for pound, caliber kind of fighter. So yeah, the odds have to be overwhelmingly in Canelo's favor, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's going to be the same in that squared circle.
33 years old now, Canelo. He does have 64 pro fights, 62-2, 39 knockouts. Looking for his 40th against Jaime Munguia, who's coming in at 43-0, undefeated. Obviously, a lot of fights, 34 knockouts. He's 27 years old. He's in his prime now. But his last two fights are really the meaningful ones, you can say. John Ryder stopped him in the 9th. And then the Derevchenko won a UD close fight. He needed a knockdown there at the end to get that decision, really. And then before that, a whole bunch of nothing. Gabriel Rosado, probably the one that stands out the most. And yeah, as I said, whole lot of nothing. A smaller Saddam Ali. Just a lot of fights. Dennis Hogan, which he struggled against. And then on the other hand, Canelo's coming off that Charlo win in September of last year. John Ryder, that fight in Mexico on Cinco de Mayo weekend as well in 2023. Gennady Golovkin in September of 2022. And then, of course, that loss against Bivol in Cinco de Mayo weekend on 2022. So, he's staying relatively active, Chris. 64 fights. This will be his 65th. Hard to see in today's boxing. Most guys are fighting once or twice a year. If you do the math, let's say you fight twice a year for 10 years. That's only 20 fights, Chris. 20 fights in 10 years. So Canelo, throwback fighter, staying busy, staying active, and still the face of boxing, still favored in this fight.
Yeah, and then let's not forget, Gio. I mean, there's a good understanding that, even though he debuted at 15, he had like maybe 10, 12 fights that were not on the record. So he's got many more fights than BoxRec shows. But I guess this poses to my next question, Gio. Do you feel like we see Canelo slip a little bit in age? Even though we believe he still win, do you think you'll see some of Canelo slowing down, having that many fights under his belt?
I think that's natural. I think we'll see it. I think that's gonna happen. He's fighting a younger fighter. Munguia doesn't throw the most punches per round. He can be a little more active, but I think at some point a fight will break out, and I think that's gonna favor Canelo with his counter punching, with his defensive skills. So, I think the styles that the fight will be fought at will look like Canelo slipping a little bit, but he's a smart fighter. He's gonna do what he has to do against Ryder. He didn't move much. He stayed there close to Ryder, and Ryder was not afraid to trade. So I think we see Canelo slip a little bit, but I think he's still gonna win. My biggest question is, can Munguia hurt Canelo? That's going to be the biggest sign if Canelo's slipping or not, because all these guys were not able to hurt him. The last guy who hurt him was Jose Cotto way back in the day. Canelo was like 19 years old, right? He fought the biggest punchers, Golovkin. He fought Kovalev at 75. He fought guys like Jacobs. He's fought guys with a lot of power, and none of those guys have been able to bother him. So that's going to be the biggest question. Can Munguia make Canelo respect him? And if he hurts Canelo, that I think that's going to be the biggest sign that he's slipping a little bit. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, we've said it on time and time again. Canelo has one of the best chins in the business, and we saw it against one of the biggest punchers in the sport in Triple G, and he's gotten hit flush, and he kind of just shakes it off. We see him with that Mike Tyson kind of sturdy neck that just, and he's got all that muscle now. He takes it well. He has the best poker face in the business. He doesn't let people know that he's even touched. So I don't see Jaime, summoning that Jose Cotto kind of moment. And like you said, Joe, he was 19, very 147 at that time. So he didn't take the punches well back then. Yeah, I agree. I think that's Jaime's best chance to try to shake him somehow, some way. I don't see him having the volume to deter Canelo. But do you think Jaime can outbox him, Gio?
I'm not even going to answer that, Chris.
You don't think he summons a Fundora Tszyu kind of fight where he uses his reach, his length, his size to try to outbox him?
Man,
You don't think so?
He's not 6'6", Chris. Man, he doesn't have the skill like that. So that's not him. That's not him. He's gonna outpower you. He's gonna out hustle you. But outbox you, yeah, that's not happening. That's a guarantee. As Chuck says, guarantee. That's not happening.
All right. So obviously you showed the poll, Gio. What chances do you give Munguia in this fight?
All right. So let's go back to that. I think they have Munguia about 21%. I'm gonna put some respect on his name, man. Look, I think he has a lot of momentum on his side. He's confident. He's in his prime. He has Freddie Roach behind him. Obviously, he has the support of a lot of people. Of Golden Boy, the biggest fight of his career. I'm right around that percentage. I'm gonna say 25. I might be a little generous with that number, but you can't count him out. As I said in the last few podcasts, this guy's gonna come out to fight. Something Charlo didn't do. Something guys like Billy Joe didn't do. Callum Smith, they got hit and they try to survive after that. They weren't throwing with bad intentions. I think Munguia's gonna throw with bad intentions. He's gonna try to get Canelo out of there. That's probably his only chance of winning. As I said, he's not gonna outbox Canelo. So Mexican Warrior, he's gonna fight back. I think he has a pretty good chin. He's been hit a lot. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but he has been hit a lot. His chin is going to be straight up in the air. We'll see how he takes it. We'll see how he takes those punches by Canelo, who's usually very accurate. Body upstairs, counter punching. But yeah, I'm gonna say about 25%. I'm gonna put some respect on his name. He's younger. He's probably stronger. He's bigger. So we'll see. I think 25 is fair in my books.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a little higher, Gio. I'm gonna say 30% to that 70, close to what the fans said. I think his youth and just having an all Mexican kind of affair is gonna make him fight a little bit higher level than what he's used to. I think going up against a pound for pounder, a legend like Canelo is gonna make him raise his game, raise that level. And yeah, I think he's gonna surprise us with that competitive level. But yeah, again, everything on paper just doesn't show that he can beat Canelo. I'm excited for this fight, because of the connection with Triple G. As we remember, Gio, he was that 19-year-old that wanted to fight Triple G a little too soon, a little too much bravado for Jaime Munguia, but this is, finally his moment under the bright lights against, the man, the face of boxing. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm still excited to see, how their styles clash when they're, not to say our name, but against the ropes. I think those are the moments where Jaime's gonna, unleash his strength, his power, and he might have some success there. But yeah, again, it's a big assignment, a tough assignment against the face of boxing.
Yeah, it's looking tough, man. All the odds against him. Most people assuming he's gonna lose, but we'll see. We'll see. As I said, he's been looking strong at 68, so you can't count him out. But he's going up against the face of boxing. He's never been on that big stage like that before. I'm very interested to see, when Jaime Munguia, walks out to the ring. Are people going to cheer for him? Are people going to boo for him? It's going to be, I'm sure, 95% Mexican crowd. Or are they going to be split? Or are they going to be rooting for the face of boxing? Or are they going to be rooting for the new guy on the block? Maybe the future face of boxing if he's able to somehow pull this off. That's going to be very interesting to see. But I think it's a great overall just weekend for Mexican boxing. Hopefully it can be a good competitive fight. And like I said, I can see this being, a rubber match, maybe a trilogy. We'll see. We'll see.
And let's just be honest, Jaime Munguia may not win in that square circle, but he definitely won on his way to the bank, Gio. We already know that Canelo, he's going to get at least $35 million. How much do you think that Jaime Munguia walks away in this fight, in your opinion?
I don't know. Guarantee like 20. I mean, he's more popular than the guys that Canelo usually fights. Like guys like Plant, no fan base. The UK guys have a good fan base over there. Charlo, no fan base. So those guys got good money. I would assume that Jaime Munguia got more money than that. They are saying that Golden Boy was not involved in direct negotiations in this. So maybe that may have earned him a couple more million from the Canelo team, saying, "Oh, let's be generous. Let's get this guy paid." But yeah, I can look it up. I don't know if you have the number, but I'll pull it up either way so the people can see it.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers yet.
Right.
But yeah, now that you mentioned that thing with Golden Boy, I know you don't live on social media, but I did see a clip where they asked Oscar his thoughts, and he straight out said, like, I don't like Canelo. Like, I did all this for his career, yada yada yada. He wouldn't be at where he's at if it wasn't, for my involvement. Man, that just sounds like like he got cut out of this deal.
Dang.
Like you said, like Munguia's gonna get that money, but yeah, that's very telling from the Golden Boy. You may have some fallouts, but the fact that he straight up said, I don't like him, like I don't like Canelo, like I want him to lose. I'm rooting for Munguia. That's telling right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the purses here. Obviously, Canelo, they're saying that 35 million was the one that was thrown around a lot. I'm trying to find the number for Munguia. But let me tell you this: Canelo's saving PBC, man. With this deal, imagine they don't have this. Like, let's keep it real. The Tszyu Fundora was probably a flop. Not for boxing fans, but for the numbers, for the business. It was supposed to be Keith Thurman. They were supposed to bring a decent number of viewers. That was canceled, and they try to save it at the end, but I don't think they ever even announced the numbers. That's how it flopped. They don't really have anything coming up PBC except for this. I know they're trying to sell that Tank fight, but he's gonna win by knockout. Benavidez is gonna win by knockout, so that's not worth it. I'll let you know if I find it here, but yeah, they're gonna get paid, and after pay-per-views, after sponsorships, they're gonna walk away with a big bag, and Turkey's not even involved. Chris.
Yeah, I mean that's the power of the face of boxing. I'm a little curious how much money altogether, like the organizers get, and how much they cut out to Canelo and all the payouts. But yeah, again, this is the face of boxing. We're hoping we get big numbers. I mean, Ryan Garcia put up some big numbers, man. He made a case for himself, Gio. We got to put respect where it's deserved, man. Outside of Canelo, the Joshuas, the once upon a time Mayweathers, the once upon a time Pacquiaos. There's not a whole lot of draws, in boxing. So we're hoping Canelo puts up big numbers, and we'll see where his star power is still after this fight. Again, we've always said it. We don't have him forever. A couple more years in the game. We gotta appreciate while we still have him. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this one, man.
All right, and look, the undercard doesn't help at all. Obviously Canelo's the one that sells. Everyone's there to watch him, but we have Brandon Figueroa against Jesse Magdaleno. Not sure why. That should be a Brandon Figueroa win. No disrespect to Jesse. We like Jesse Magdaleno, but that should be lopsided. Mario Barrios against Fabian Andres Maidana. Let's see how he's coming into this fight. He's 22-2, 16 knockouts, 31 years old. He's coming off a win last November. He has a good series of wins there. Yeah, we'll see. That should be all right. Staniones against Gabriel Maestre, ranked number 30. Not excited about that one. Jesus Alejandro Ramos coming off that last loss to Lubin. I think that was on the undercard of I think Charlo and Canelo. Got robbed in that one. He's fighting a number 42 ranked guy, and a whole lot of nothing on the rest of the undercard. No disrespect, but come on, man.
Hey, it's not a turkey card, man. You gotta keep it real. But yeah, man.
Hey,
again, it's
all right. Let me tell you this, man. Y'all better be thanking Ryan Garcia. That man just bought boxing a lifeline of like 5 years. Y'all better be thanking him. Because let's keep it real. After Canelo, man, if your last name is not Joshua, maybe Fury, most people don't care if you're fighting or not. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, no, again, Ryan, yeah, he revitalized at least the rest of this year for now. Again, I gave him a lot of respect last year, Gio, when he took that Tank fight with all those stipulations going against them. Obviously, once he took that, that body shot, everybody kind of wrote him off. Even Oscar and Bija didn't show to his post-fight press conference. We see how it's different this time around. But yeah, man, when you're winning, everybody loves you. When you're losing, nobody shows up, to that after party. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens in August, because a lot of the lightweight, movement happens, and then Ryan will pick the next opponent for the end of the year. So that's going to be big. Hopefully they bring it back to LA, Gio, because they did it in New York. It only makes sense, to do it in LA, Vegas. So yeah, I'm excited for that Ryan opponent next. But yeah, right now it's Canelo week, it's fight week. The king is still here, and yeah, man, we're excited for this Saturday.
Yeah, Golden Boy president Eric Gomez says that the PPV numbers that you guys have been hearing are not true. The first report comes out at 10 days after the fight. So I know a lot of people were seeing like 900,000 and stuff like that. But I don't think there is a real number out there as of now. They're saying what Ryan made how much, Chris? Like 30, what was the number? 25 million, 35 million guaranteed?
Yeah, yeah, like
Something like
25.
that, right? Man, that dude got paid. And he saved boxing, man. Y'all better put some respect on his name as the savior of boxing, man.
Yeah, for me, I feel like those. What you said that they said that the pay-per-view numbers were 900K.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors. I guess Golden Boy president said those are not accurate. The numbers are not out yet.
Yeah, wait, is he trying to say that those are bad numbers? He's trying to discount that, or
I don't know. I just read the headline, but I just think he's saying they're not out yet. So
okay.
not sure where they're getting that from.
Yeah, we know that the Tank and Ryan fight last year made some good numbers. Obviously, I don't see those numbers being anywhere close to that because of the dance partner that Ryan had. Not to mention the antics, which I want to say they worked backwards unless people bought tickets and pay-per-views super last minute, which is a possibility. But I just don't think those numbers are that high, especially with illegal streaming that people tend to buy nowadays. So yeah, I'm surprised that those numbers are close to that 100K, Gio.
All right. Going back to Canelo Munguia, official predictions, Chris. It's time. Official predictions. You go first. I don't want you to copy me.
I'll go first. I'm gonna say, and I was gonna pose you this question, but I guess I can do it after the.
You can ask now if you want. You can ask now if you want.
Obviously, Canelo by. See Canelo UD, but I mean we had upsets before, so it would be crazy if when he somehow finds a way to win. But Canelo unanimous decision. I'm playing the safe.
Ooh, man. Yeah, that's mine too, man. Should I be bold and say he's gonna stop Munguia? I think Munguia's gonna be durable, man. I think he's gonna take a beating, but I think he's gonna be durable. I don't think he's gonna be able to stop him. Man. I'm gonna say that, and then I'm gonna say they probably get it on again. So I'm gonna say Canelo UD.
Let me ask this question: Do you think Canelo can drop him?
Yeah, I think so. But I've never really seen Munguia hurt like that. But I think Canelo can catch him slipping, man. His chin is gonna be straight up in the air. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, man, he might get a stoppage, but I'm gonna play it safe too. I'm gonna say Canelo UD. Big Bro says go Canelo KO in a 9 or 10. Canelo did say within 8, I believe. I saw a headline. So Canelo doesn't usually predict KO. So man, that's tough. Man, I don't know if I should go for it.
I know you're thinking about it. For me, I just see it kind of being like a Chavez Jr. kind of fight where Canelo, is just obviously racking up rounds easy. I don't want to say it's going to be that easy, but I just see him racking up rounds and rounds and rounds. But just like Junior was, like just too big and able to withstand the punches. But Munguia is not as big as Junior, so yeah. I mean, you want to take a risk? Go for it, Gio.
My final prediction is going to be, look, I think it's going to be UD, and I only think because Canelo, I think he's going to give him the Miguel Cotto treatment. And I think he's going to show him too much respect. I don't think he dislikes Munguia. I don't think he's going to, I don't want to say he's going to carry him. I think that's disrespectful. But, against Cotto, he could have got him out of there. He was levels above Cotto, and he didn't. I think he respected him too much. I think he'll show some respect for Munguia. And that's the only reason why. I think if Munguia was a trash talker, I think Canelo will get him out of there. But yeah, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that if it's somewhat competitive fight, and if it's a fight that the fight fans enjoy, even if Canelo wins 8-4, 9-3, I can see just that sportsmanship, that respect between them. I can see Canelo, giving him the rematch just to piss off Benavidez. Yeah. We've seen it on social media. people are clamoring for that fight. But yeah, Canelo could be a little petty, so I can see him running it back with Munguia if it's a fun fight for the fans.
Yeah, and there you have it. The voters on our channel, 79% in favor of Canelo, 21% in favor of Munguia. You would think that 21% is what? Chavez Jr. fans, Triple G fans, Benavides fans.
That one guy with the sign on social media, I'm not sure if you saw that, Gio.
I saw what Canelo said to him. Yeah.
It was comedy. Ese Canelín.
But
yeah, how big would it be if Munguia somehow were to upset Canelo? Would it be the upset of the year?
I think it would be. Oh yeah, for sure. I think we talked about last week what was good for boxing. In the last couple of weeks, what we kind of came to agreement was that if Ryan Garcia wins, that's the best for boxing, right? My reasoning was I just think Devin Haney's boring. He doesn't sell. He's not exciting in the ring. And on the other hand, Ryan is great at marketing. A lot of people watch him to watch him win or to watch him lose. But he's entertaining. He has knockout power. That was the best thing that could have happened for boxing. In this case, anytime anyone beats Canelo is good for boxing. Because now you have another star. Look at Bivol now. People did not give Bivol credit before this fight, that Canelo fight. And he was already one of the top dogs at 75. And most people didn't know who he was, right? They didn't know that it was a dangerous fight. Now, anytime Bivol fights, people are watching. And now Bivol is going to fight better, and people are going to watch, because of that Canelo effect. But, obviously, if Munguia beats Canelo, it's going to be great for him. Great for Golden Boy, great business. They're going to get the rematch on if that happens. But, yeah, I just don't see it happening. And I think Canelo's still the cash cow, and he's going to sell regardless. So, I think either outcome is good for the sport. Obviously, Munguia wins. It's going to be monumental. I think Steve Kim and Mario Lopez are saying that this would be the biggest win for Freddie Roach. Obviously, he had big wins with Pacquiao, but Munguia's the underdog. I don't know if Pacquiao was ever the underdog in those fights. So yeah. I think this would be huge. It would be huge.
Yeah, for me, when I think of like the face of boxing, when I think of the Oscar de la Hoyas, the Manny Pacquiaos, those kinds of guys, I always think like, who's going to be the guy that takes that torch away? Obviously for Chavez Sr. was de la Hoya. For de la Hoya, it was Manny Pacquiao. I'm always wondering like who's it going to be for Canelo?
Yeah.
And right now, I don't think it's Jamie. And we like Jamie. Jamie's a nice guy. He's a cool guy. He's a good fighter, but I just don't think he's the one to take that torch, into the future. So, but again, I'm excited for this fight. Mexican affair. I know people have been clamoring for an all-Mexican clash for years now. They've been, shooting at Canelo saying that he doesn't fight Mexicans. Well, it's here, and hey, buckle up, man. It's gonna be a nice toe-to-toe affair.
Yeah, and look, we're not sponsored, but Canelo drinks, the VMC are really good. Just in case y'all want to buy some for this weekend, Cinco de Mayo. Good beverages, but like I said, hey, hit us up if y'all want to sponsor the show. I know you guys are watching. I know Jaime Munguia is watching too, friend of the show. We did a ringside commentary with him way back, maybe 4 years ago. He was over here. What was it, Montebello? I think he was watching some local fights here. We were doing the commentary for those fights, and Munguia was in attendance, and we asked him to come do the commentary with us. He did it in Spanish. Nice guy. He's likable, Chris. People like him. He's an exciting fighter. If he was better looking, I think people would hate him. That's generally the trend, right? If the quote unquote pretty boys get all the hate, but he's likable. He's likable, and I think if he wins, then people are gonna hop on the train. I don't think too many people are on that Jaime Munguia train as of now. Understandably so. Defense, a lot of flaws. Doesn't always show that ring IQ. He likes to brawl, but we'll see. Hopefully, it's an exciting fight, man. I'm just excited that someone's gonna fight back against Canelo, man. as I said, when those guys feel that first power punch, they freeze up. I don't think that happens to Munguia. Hopefully not.
Yeah, and again, Gio, I mean, we said it time and time again. I was one of those guys that was impressed. You know, when I first heard the name, Jaime Munguia. I know that you're like, man, he never wanted that fight with Triple G. For me, just the fact that he threw his name in the head, I was like, okay, who's this kid? You know, like let's protect him from himself. He's not ready for the big time. He's not ready for Triple E. But you know, I was like, I respect that. You know, fast forward the next couple years, I wasn't too impressed. I saw him kind of lag in his development. You know, the last couple of fights, however, the last couple of ones, even though, like you said, he still gets hit a lot. You know, I've been impressed with those fights. The Ryder, the Davidenchenko, that fight of the year. So like he's coming into his own. He's growing in confidence. He's growing in momentum, and sometimes that's all you need. You know, we saw with Ryan. He doesn't have the same fundamentals that a David Haney has, but he had that confidence. He had the power. He had the strength, and you know, we saw what he did. So again, confidence is such a big thing for fighters. I think Jaime knows what he's up against, but he's got a good little confidence factor going on right now, and I think that's what is going to make it, you know, a little bit more competitive than what the bookies are saying.
Let it go, Chris. Let it go. Triple G retired already, man. It's all good. Let it go. Let it go. He's long gone, man. He's doing his own thing, man. Big drama show, man. Big drama show.
You know, respect. You got to put respect on Big Drama Show.
Hey, before we move on to that Inoue and Nery fight, which I think is flying under the radar only because May, we're getting, of course, Canelo Munguia, we're getting Fury Usyk, we're getting Lomachenko Kambosos, Navarrete is also fighting against Berencik. You know, a lot of fights, and obviously Ryan Garcia, I think so far this year has stolen the show. That Inoue and Nery kind of flying under the radar is on the Monday morning here in the U.S. We're going to get into it, but look, let me show you guys this, Chris. I don't know if you saw this post. Devin Haney running down his neighborhood ran into Oscar De La Hoya. What do you think about that? Kind of awkward, no?
A little awkward. I mean, I think Haney's a little, you know, he's showing a little sportsmanship. He's a little humbled right now. Maybe that's a nice way of putting it. But yeah, obviously, I think Oscar's one of those guys, like he sees you, he's like, yeah, he just gets happy to see you. So a little awkward again. You know, you just took a beating from this guy's fighter. You know, Devin the Dream Haney, the type to just show a little bit of class. He did that, but yeah, definitely awkward moment. Uh, yeah, but hey, was he running out there, Joe? Is that what he's doing? Is he like, is he out there running, going like, I'm putting this behind me, or what was going on out there? Or are they playing golf?
I don't know. It looked like he was just going on his morning runs, going back to training, going back to work, and then Oscar just playing golf, I guess. You know what was interesting too? Eddie Hearn said he was not part of Matchroom was not part of that fight either. He was just there to support. I think it was all Golden Boy and Haney.
I wonder how that works. Obviously, like we know that fighters like to do things on a fight to fight basis.
Yeah.
There's, you know, they're getting away from those big contracts, aka Mike Garcia. So I'm always curious on how that works. Obviously, you said it looks like Oscar's not part of this Munguia one, so he doesn't get a cut. He doesn't get, you know, that slice of the cake. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Eddie Hearns, he's a good guy. I like him. But yeah, he made some other rounds with that Ryan Garcia fight. We saw the exchange with Ryan's dad. Obviously, you know, we look back at those videos where he was obviously saying Devin Haney might be unbeatable in his opinion. They just haven't been aging well.
Yeah, and then let's go to I also wanted to touch on this poll right here. Oh, almost 6,000 votes. Who had the worst loss, Chris? I posted this 4 days ago. Who had the worst loss? Lopez versus Kambosos, 12%. Garcia versus Davis, 9%. Haney versus Garcia, 79%. Now, obviously, Haney was favored against Garcia. Lopez was favored against Kambosos. Ryan was not favored against Davis, but he quit. So, To me, I just voted for the Haney Garcia one because he took a beating and he was favorite. He was probably the biggest favorite. Lopez Cambosos, I think that was a bad one too. I think Cambosos had no business being the champion. Obviously, he lost them to Devin Haney. I think they're all bad losses. Ryan Garcia quit, but I just think Devin Haney took a beating. I don't know if you would agree with that.
I know this one's not out there, but I would put Errol Spence Jr. took the worst beating. But let's focus on the ones that are there. I definitely have
these
to agree
guys.
that
Yeah, I know.
definitely
I know
because
some
he just
people.
did so
Chris.
much damage.
I mean, I know some people mentioned that in the comments, but I mean, these guys are all pretty much in the same division, so
Yeah,
that's why it's comparable.
I would say definitely Haney again, Gio. He just fell from grace, in my opinion. He just got totally, dismantled. He got played out. He got hustled, like you said in previous podcasts. His Again, he thought he was in the driver's seat, and Ryan was in the back seat, telling him really where to go this whole time. So definitely has to be Haney. Lopez, it looked like it was just some distractions, and yes, he lost to a non-puncher like
Close.
Cambosos. Ryan, even though it was a bad loss, I don't really notch him too much because he was weight drained. He had so many stipulations where he couldn't rehydrate past a certain amount. He still took the fight.
He was
He gave
supposed
the
to
fight
lose.
back.
He was supposed to lose.
Both lose. He gave the fight the fight that the fans wanted. It kind of set into motion so many other fights, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't knock him too much for that. But yeah, Devin Haney definitely took the worst beating, in my opinion. You see the post pictures. Ryan looks clean. Looks like he's ready to go. Another 12, and Devin Haney just all bruised up, all beat up, 3 knockdowns. You know, there was no respect on Ryan Garcia's and for Devin Haney's power. The jab was not existent. It was just a total demolition.
Hey, it was 12-12 according to one judge and DAZN, Chris.
Hey, that just tells us, man, we could take those jobs, man. That's it's not as hard as people are putting it out to be.
Yeah, you'll see him on TV again this weekend, the same people. But what else? Oh, I did want to add Rollies to the list. I just don't think he belongs with those guys because Rolly took a bad beating too against Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah, that was a bad one too, but it wasn't again. It wasn't physically it was bad, but again, just the
He was supposed to
the
lose too. He was
that
supposed
Devin
to.
Haney got, just the build up to that. It's almost like people are not upset at Rhodey's. If anything, they're giving him respect for taking that kind of assignment. Those kinds of fights, and you can't hate on a guy like Rowley's that he entertains, he tries, he's funny, post fight. Man, I know he was probably concussed in that fight, but nah, you can't hate on a guy like Rowley's.
All right, we'll keep it moving, Chris. We'll keep it moving. Just wanted to go through those polls real quick. We might touch on some other ones toward the end to see if we have some time. We are about an hour and 15 in. I do want to touch on this fight, as I said, maybe flying a little bit under the radar. Inoue Nery, obviously Inoue undefeated, undisputed in one weight class, right? He's looking for where is it 2? Did he go undisputed in 2? I can't remember, but he's undisputed right now. 26-0, 23 KOs, 31 years old, the monster, fighting in Japan again against Nery, who's coming into this fight 35-1. Of course, he had that loss against Brandon Figueroa. This was 4 fights ago. That loss was in 2021. It seems like it was more recent. He was stopped in that one against Figueroa, body shot. Nery, 29 years old, 27 KOs in those 35 wins. What a fight, Chris. What a fight.
Yeah, no, like you said, this one's not getting the due love that it deserves. It pins two of the best fighters in that division, a pound for pounder and Naoya Inoue. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a great fight. I think Luis Nery is coming into his moment. Of course, one of the hardest assignments going up against a monster. But Luis Nery does have like really good faculties. Out of 35 fights, 27 knockouts, so he's got power. You mentioned that loss, to Figueroa. Body shot. Hey, it happens. It happens in the sport. No shame in going down to a body shot. But yeah, he's got tough assignment in Tokyo against a monster in the Lion's Den. But he's got a shot, man. I want to say I will give him a bigger shot than Munguia, to be honest. But yeah, again, it's a great fight, man. I can't wait.
And Inoue undisputed at 118 and 122. So, continuing to create history. Now, this is more of a kind of legacy fight, right? I think some people criticize him saying, oh, he hasn't fought the biggest names. Oh, he has to fight in the States. You know how many people he's going to put in that stadium? 40-something thousand people in that Tokyo Dome. That's where Mike Tyson fought, right? And lost to Buster. So, yeah, big venue, big bag. Not surprised that Nery agreed to go over there. But, man, he's the monster, Chris. This fight is going to be early morning. I was reading 7 a.m. Eastern, so around 4 in the morning Pacific is when the main event is supposed to start. So it's going to be explosive, man. Both guys got power. Obviously, you know it. 23 knockouts, 26 wins. Great boxing skills. He's shown a great chin as well. Great IQ. He's stopping all these guys, man, that are supposed to give him a challenge. So I don't know if I want to predict a stoppage, but it's difficult not to. It's very difficult not to against you can't bet against a guy like Naoya, man. Look, he's coming off that KO win against Apales. That's how he won the undisputed title. That was in December 2023. He stopped Fulton as well. He stopped Paul Butler. He stopped Nonito Donaire. And most other guys. Only 3 guys survived against Inoue. Very, very hard to predict against the KO. Anytime the monster fights.
Yeah, and again, he's like you said, Joe. He's got power, but behind that power is some just sound fundamentals. He knows what shots to pick. He rarely wastes any shot. When he's got your man hurt, he jumps on it, and accuracy is close to is second to none. Again, he's the monster, but I think he's an intelligent kind of monster, and we saw him take some of the biggest shots of his career in the fight against Nonito Donaire. Shots that I would have thought like, oh, he's hurt, like he's gonna buckle and Nonito's gonna derail him, and no, he weathered that storm, and that showed me he's got a chin. He's got so many. He's almost a complete fighter, Joe, in my opinion, because he's also defensively sound. So, yeah, like you said, very hard to not put a knockout prediction in for Inoue against anybody. It almost feels like it's written in stone. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for this one. It's a good little like dessert after the Canelo fight.
If he stops Nery, does he become number 1 pound for pound fighter?
You have to. I think at this point,
All right, stop right there. Stop right there.
Heavyweights, yeah.
All right, Chris. All right. Fury Usyk, does the winner of that become number 1 pound for pound fighter?
That was a little bit tougher because obviously.
Yes or no, Chris? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
Yeah,
All right. So the answer is yes. All right, Chris. That's how you know Crawford was never number 1 pound for pound. If that's all it takes. That's simple. He's just wiped. He's never been pound for pound number 1, Chris. I don't know what people want to say and lie and listen to ESPN. It's a cute marketing, topic, but come on, man.
Yeah, no,
that was just my point. That was my point.
No, you're right when it comes to what have you done for me lately and who have you done it against. The winner of the Usyk versus Fury has a bigger case because you're fighting somebody closer to the pound for pound rankings. The only other person I can see Terrence Crawford establishing himself over that is a fight with Virgil, but Virgil's not a title holder yet. So, but yeah, right now, I test Usyk. Inoue, can make a case for that number one position, depending on how they finish these fights out.
That's another one I hate. Eye test. Oh man, what is this? A fairy tale? A movie? Man, that's crazy. I'm telling you, boxing fans make up all types of weird stuff. Oh, the eye test. Man, whatever. But it's gonna be a great fight. As I said, early Monday morning. I read 7 a.m. Eastern. So 4 a.m. Pacific to be specific. Great fight. Don't miss it. ESPN Plus. Inoue, Luis Nery, El Pantera. And like I said, Chris, this is more of a legacy fight. He's fighting a Mexican fighter. It would have been great to have it here in the States. It would have sold like crazy. But you can't beat 45,000 people in a stadium, Chris, in a stadium. So, people want to criticize Inoue. But, dude, who's putting up those types of numbers? Like I said, if your last name is not Joshua or Alvarez, none of those guys are doing it. Hey, Tszyu did great in Australia. That's someone to keep an eye on. If he beats Virgil, oh man.
Yeah. No, the Aussies get behind their fighter. I always say the Aussies are kind of like the UK down there. They get behind their guy. If you have a guy that has charisma and a good fighting style, and blue chip fighter, they'll get behind him. And it seems like Tszyu is that guy. But tough assignment against Virgil Jr. But yeah, Gio, did you want to put your prediction down for Inoue and Nery?
Man, Big Bro says Inoue in 5 or 6. He says losing to Figueroa with a body shot. Just imagine what Inoue is going to do to him. Man, I'm gonna say Inoue stops him. I think it's gonna go later though. I think Nery's gonna show a lot of heart, but this guy can hurt you with anything. I'm gonna say Inoue stoppage, and that's no disrespect to Nery. I just think Inoue is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I don't think it's close. If Usyk beats Fury, then he has a case. But I think right now, Inoue's momentum, undisputed in 2 weight classes, doing it in such a short period of time. I don't see Nery catching him or surprising him. Inoue rarely slips up. Offensively, defensively, he's always focused. So tough task for Nery to say the least. I think Inoue stops him late in the fight.
All right, late, like round 9, 10?
Around there.
All right, I'm gonna say I agree with Big Bro. I don't think Nery. I don't think he goes that later rounds. I'm gonna say
Damn.
Inoue round 7 knockout.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say it's not a body shot. It's a shot to the head.
Wow.
Round 7. If this fight was in Mexico, Nery goes 9 rounds. But
Wow.
Tokyo 7.
Woo. That's a hot take in my opinion, but we'll see. Look, 82% of the 1,000 plus voters are saying Inoue is gonna win. 18% are saying Nery. Let's see what the people are saying. Don't underestimate the Mexican Warrior. Inoue by TKO. Nery will win. He got a good chin and hits hard. The hype job will be exposed. Yeah, some people, of course, the Mexican crowd riding with Nery, but I'm not surprised to see the 82% versus 18% here. Now, same question as Munguia. Percentage. What's the chance you're giving Nery of winning this fight against Naoya Inoue?
I'm gonna put some respect. I'm gonna say 35%. I think he's got a good pop. He's got good power. He's he's pretty a good sized guy for that size over Inoue. So I say 35%. What about you, Jim?
Man, I want to say 30. I might have to go lower though. I'm not sure. I just think that Nery's style is favorable for Inoue. I think he could counter him. I think if Nery tries to fight on the inside, Inoue is quicker, he's stronger, smarter. But I'm going to give him a respectable 30%. I'm right up there too. A respectable 30%. He just has to be very, very smart. with Naoya and earn his respect early in the fight. But Naoya can do it all. He can box, he can brawl, he can fight going backwards, forward, throws great straight punches, great looping hands, great uppercuts to the body, upset. I mean, he's a complete fighter. He's a complete fighter, and I think he's going to prove that.
Yeah, obviously they're in the they're like in the same weight division now. Obviously they're gonna be professionals coming on weight, but I'm gonna say something, Gio, and then you let me know what your thoughts on this. I think Ryan Garcia may have started an after effect. He's got a lot of influence. A lot of people do see what he does and they try to emulate it. In moments, I kind of see a few fighters kind of discounting Gio and coming in a little bit bigger and trying to get that advantage. I'm not saying that Nery's gonna do it, but I think people are starting to see like, hey, I'm gonna take that little risk. I'm gonna give myself an advantage. Screw the titles now. Not saying he's gonna do it, but I feel like that might start a trend in boxing. So yeah, I'm curious to see how much of a size disparity there'll be for this fight. But if Nery does come a little bigger, that will definitely help his chances. Not saying he's gonna win, but he's got that 35% in my opinion.
Well, he's missed weight before, and I think in as far as the Ryan comments, not everybody has 1.5 million to just cough up and pay the fines. I'm sure they had some type of agreement already beforehand, and probably that bet in public was just for show. But yeah, those fines can take a toll, man. Don't underestimate those fines. Just like the sanctioning fees. That's why a lot of people don't care about the belts. They're like, good, I don't have to pay $100K just to keep this thing. So
but I'm excited. Inoue, round 7, Gio, the monster. I think he's like a fighting work of art. I can't wait to be up at 3:30 a.m. I think we kind of gotten used to that when it comes to Inoue fighting on with the Monday, Tuesdays, and it's well worth it. Again, he's arguably top 2 in the world. Again, I know that I said this a while ago. He years ago he reminded me of Pacquiao when it comes to excitement.
Oh man,
obviously, in my opinion, more fundamentally sound than Manny Pacquiao, but he's just as exciting in my opinion.
I just don't get why people have to compare, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, it wouldn't be the ATR podcast without the bad Chris comparisons. So there you have it. He gave us 2 today, I think, 2 or 3. But yeah, I think that's all I got, Chris. We dropped our official predictions. We're going Inoue both with stoppage, and we're also agreeing with Canelo UD over Jaime Munguia.
Hey, payday. We know the big winner in this fight, no matter what.
Munguia,
like you said, you're going away with double-digit millions in his account. But yeah, man. Again, it's gonna be a great affair in Las Vegas. I'll be in the building. I'll be sending you videos so you guys can share with the fans, Gio. But yeah, man. Again, it's gonna be an all-Mexican affair. I heard that Rake is walking them out. I know there's some people that like that band. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good, man. And I know you're planning on going to some other fights soon too, right? Besides the Canelo, I don't know. Are you planning on going to that Subriel Matias fight after all? That's in Puerto Rico against Leon Paro.
Yeah, going to Puerto Rico, you don't need a passport, man. Just your ID. You buy these tickets ahead of time, you can save a little bit. But yeah, we'll be in Puerto Rico. Matias fight will also be in San Diego, covering the Navarrete fight. So yeah, I'm excited to get that coverage for the channel, Gio. And yeah, man, I'm excited. First time Puerto Rico. Maybe run into Tito, maybe run into Cotto. We never know.
Or Anuel or something.
A few rappers out there, that like Matias, that know that what he's about. But yeah, man.
Yeah, and also I'll be I got tickets to the the Josh Taylor Catterall 2 fight after all. I had to get them on resale. They were all sold out, but I was able to find some tickets, so I'll be in Leeds. I believe it's May 25th, Leeds, England. So I'll be catching that one, try to get some footage for you guys too. So that should be exciting. UK's different.
UK is different. Between all those hooligans and those wankers.
UK is different.
UK is different, man.
I'm
They
gonna
get
just
behind their.
I'm gonna wear black.
They
I'm gonna
make
wear
you
all
believe,
black.
man. They make you believe that this guy might be the next best thing. But hey, you gotta respect that fan base.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any other fight announcements that happen soon? I can't name any off the top. I know more recently, the last few weeks, they made the Better BF Bebo official. I can't think of any other ones that they've made official recently.
Yes, yeah, that's the only one that comes to mind. Quick thoughts, Gio. What do you think of? I know you're not a big fan of Jake Paul, but we're getting him a little bit of respect the last year or so. It looks like Mike Tyson and him are it's officially a pro fight. What are your thoughts?
No way.
Yeah,
As of when? I didn't hear anything. I'll be honest. This is
this is
breaking news to me.
breaking news. What are your thoughts?
Pro fight. I don't know if I believe that, man. Only because Mike is 7 years old. I don't know who's gonna want to take that risk.
Yeah. Oh,
It-
at that age,
it's
do you
true.
still favor Mike Tyson, Gio, or do you think it's just
I
no?
not without headgear. Not without headgear. That's
Yeah.
that's wild. What is your take on that? I don't know. I
Uh,
I'm not too into what's going on.
Yeah, I'm obviously when you grew up with Mike Tyson and you seen his his whole 360 change, you want him to stay healthy. So I'm a little saddened by that, but again, it's the warrior in him that probably said, "Nah, this is a fight. I'm a warrior. I'm not no you know he's not a weenie. He's a fighter. So not surprised in a sense for that. I will say, Gio, this is even at this age, this is a much more focused and hungry Mike Tyson. When he was finishing his career, he was just doing it for the payday. You could tell he was not hungry at all. He was losing the guys that he would have knocked out in one round in 10 seconds. So, just to see him, even though he's a lot older, just seeing him, his ferocity and his hunger again, it looks like he's at peace now in this stage of his career. I'm excited to see him go out, with a bang and hopefully a positive bang. Hopefully they all come out, safe and sound. Again, seeing him against Roy, you almost felt like he carried Roy, but yeah, hopefully they all come out safe.
Yeah, that's definitely breaking news to me. Big Bro says Amanda Serrano versus Taylor rematch. It's gonna be on Netflix too.
That's right. That's right. That one's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. That's big for women's boxing.
Is that happening in New York? Do you know? Is it happening in or where's that fight taking place?
We'll look it up right now. I'm on the boxing schedule right now. Don't forget also Takuma Inoue is on the undercard.
Right.
He's a champion as well. He'll be defending his title. Jason Maloney. Oh man, this guy knows people. This guy's always fighting for belts. He loses to everyone and is still out here fighting for belts. Obviously,
I was gonna say those Australia numbers must be good, man. That's a whole country.
it's the
It's a whole continent, Gio.
Australian, the Australian Illuminati or something. I don't know what group they're part of. But hey, shout out to PYP Boxing. Says you two dudes are great. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you were here, I would give you a hug. A bro hug. No Diddy.
A Devin Haney hug? Come on.
Just a soft
Man.
hug. I won't hold it for too long like Devin. Carlos Cuadras is also on there against Andrew Maloney. I'm telling you, these guys know people, man. That's insane.
I mean, whoever their manager is, give him over to Rayo, man. That's who should be handling your career.
Nah, for real. Hey, you know what? I think I know who their manager is. I think we follow each other on Instagram. I remember when those fights with Joshua Franco, he would drop some comments and stuff. So I think I know who it is, but man, crazy. Hey, respect to you guys. You guys are doing great for your fighters. That's crazy. All right, who
Getting
else?
in the bag.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, Amanda Serrano Taylor. I'm guessing it's gonna be New York, Puerto Rico, Irish. Big fan bases there. So I'm guessing it's gonna be there. If it's not there, I'd be a little surprised unless it's in Ireland or something like that. But yeah, I'd be excited to get in that building.
Yeah, and May 18th, obviously, Usyk Fury, Joe Cordina against Anthony Cas. I don't know how to say that. Jai Apatai is on that one too. Not decent. Sergey Kovalev is fighting on there. Cruiserweight. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
man. Again, I'm excited for Major. I mean,
all right,
April.
Chris, we're still not done here, Chris.
Let's see.
Hold your horses. May 18th, San Diego, California, ESPN Plus, Navarrete, Berenchik. They recently announced this undercard. They're stacked. Giovanni Santillana versus Brian Norman Jr., Richard Torres Jr. against Brandon Moore, Charlie Sheehy against Manuel James, Jaimes, however you say it, or boy, Alan Kid Kansas Garcia against Wilfredo Flores, Jonathan Lopez against Edgar Ortega. I think El General Vargas might be on there too. And then the May 25th, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. I don't know the guys on the undercard, unfortunately, but I'll be there. Christian and Billy fighting in Canada. Good up and coming super middleweight. He's a contender. He's up there. He's up there. Bevo Beterbiev, June 1. That one is gonna be stacked as well. AB Blair Cobbs, June 7th. Florida. Xander Zayas is headlining June 8th in New York against Patrick Tejeda, Brazilian. First time headlining Xander there in New York. June 15, Matias against Paro. June 15 also Davis against Martin. I don't know if they have the women's fight on here. June 29th, El Gallo against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Don't sleep on that one. This is the one that I heard about too. Delfimo against Steve Claggett.
Who is that?
No idea. But that's one of the ones I heard recently. I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Shakur Stevenson versus Artem Harutyunyan. Dude, what is this? Are these made up characters, Chris? That's crazy. How do they get away with this?
If we don't know who they are, come on. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Let me get off this. I'm going to start getting pissed off. All right, Chris, what else you got? Before we get out of here, what else you got for the peoples?
Nah, that's it, Gio. I mean, again, we're here. We're finally in May. We've always said that May is el pastel, man. It's the big dinner when it comes to boxing. Canelo kicks off things, and people try to rally behind him. We got a great surprise on April 20th that started things off. So we get the face of boxing now, Gio. And again, I can't wait to see Inoue. Can't wait to see Alexander Usyk versus Fury and all those fights in May. Vasily Lomachenko, still a great fighter. Till end of his career, but still putting great fights together. So May is stacked.
It's stacked, man. Can't wait for it. We'll be back next week. Of course, we're going to break down that Canelo Munguia fight, and that Inoue and Nery fight is going to be fresh. Monday morning, we'll be recording again Tuesday night around the same time, around 8:15 Pacific to be specific. Tune in. Don't miss it. Shout out to all the new subs. Shout out to Ryan. He got us like a plus 1,000 subs, 1 million views. So I'm telling you, man, he's the next one up. Hopefully he just keeps winning, Chris, for the good of boxing.
Hey, for the good of boxing, we didn't expect that. Nobody did. Not too many people did outside of his square circle. But like you said, Gio, hey, it's good for boxing. If it's entertainment and if it brings knockdowns, action, eyes, we're all here for it.
VMC. We'll be back soon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for keeping that chat lit. We'll be back soon. Let's go, mates. Payday. Payday. Somebody's getting a payday.
Nos vamos de party con el Canelo. Vámonos.
Payday, BMC. We'll be back soon. Let's go, mates.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the Ropes. Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having